Game 1 and 2s are in the book for the first round of the NBA playoffs, and for the most part, home teams have dominated so far. Will it continue with Game 3s now changing court? Well, history says it might. In fact, teams down 0-2 have been pretty strong plays at Game 3s at home, and all three games on Thursday night qualify. I'm going to break down all three of these matchups and let you know where I think we should be playing the home teams. Also, some player props, looks at the total, full analysis, every game for Thursday night, all three matchups. Cavaliers Magic, Knicks Sixers, Nuggets Lakers coming up for you free in this video in just a moment. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, back here on WagerTalk TV, and I'm doing these videos every day, every game for the entire playoffs in the next 2 months. If you're finding it useful, do me a couple quick favors, and I'll keep doing them. Thumbs up, like, and comment below. Let me know if you're liking the videos and also who you like tonight on Thursday in the NBA playoffs. I read all the comments and I reply back. I love the support. That's why I do these videos each and every day. And it's also great for my handicapping. Off to a perfect start those first 4 nights in the NBA playoffs. Baseball swept the board as well. In fact, once I started the daily NBA playoff videos on Saturday, 8-0 sweep for the next 4 days and nights. So serving my handicapping well. Also, check out my best bets, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, let's get right into it. First game is on NBA TV once again. I joke about this each time we talk about the Cavaliers and Magic. They put them on the early start on Saturday, and they've stuck them on NBA TV the second and third games. It's obviously one of the lower profile matchups, and it's ugly basketball. Two good defensive teams. Nothing wrong with playing defense in the postseason. And by the way, not only have home teams dominated, but the unders have been doing quite well also. And both games have stayed under in this series. They now change venue, though, back to Orlando. And as I mentioned at the top of the video, teams down 0-2 returning home as a favorite have done very well over the years, but the odds makers have caught on to that, and they really do adjust the point spreads accordingly now. We've seen that here in this matchup, as this line is about 3 to 4 baskets adjusted to what it would have been a couple games ago. They were a 5.5-point dog in games 1 and 2. Now they're about a 2-point favorite. That's a 7.5-point adjustment. But something else that the odds makers were a little slow to adjust to, and the sharp bettors for years, including myself and my clients, took advantage, were playing these teams in the first half. But you can see that the odds makers have caught on to the fact that normally these teams that are down 0-2 do very well first quarter, first half. They come out strong, where the road team sometimes lulls a little complacency. Plus, the home team has the power of the home crowd. And this game's a textbook example of that. We have Orlando as a 2-point full game favorite, and the first half line is 2, even 2.5 almost in some spots. So it's the same, if not higher. And then you look at the first quarter line, it's 1.5. So the full game is 2, first half is 2, first quarter is 1.5. Obviously, that's not the normal proportion you would see, but I agree with it. I think the Magic are the play here, not only because they fit that strong historical angle of back-to-back losses on the road, bouncing back, but the Magic are also coming off back-to-back double-digit losses on the road, which makes it even stronger. And they've been much better at home this year, 29-11 at home versus just 18-26 now on the road, including those 2 playoff losses. And that's not a surprise. The Magic are a young, up-and-coming team. In fact, Orlando's been the best point spread team in the league the last couple seasons. Guess who it was right before that a few years back? It was the Oklahoma City Thunder. Non-playoff team. They were covering, losing games, but covering. Now they're a number 1 seed. The Magic were that team the past year and a half, the best point spread team in the league, and they've been much better at home, which is also the case often with younger teams. And the Orlando will be excited to have a playoff game back in town here. So once again, 29-11 straight up at home versus just 18-28 on the road. So I do think this is one of those situations where it makes sense, and Orlando bounces back with a much better effort here in Game 3. Let's quickly do, as I've been doing in every video so far this week, let's look at some player props. We talk about the zigzag. Obviously, the Magic fit the zigzag here after the 2 losses, but I like to look at player props as well, and guys that maybe underperform points-wise, yet are taking a lot of shot attempts. It's an angle that's been working really well for us this week with our player props. And one guy I'll point out on Orlando, if they do have a bounce-back game, obviously some guys are going to be scoring points. Banchero is a guy they're looking to shut down. That's no surprise. He had 24 in Game 1, and he came back with 21 in Game 2. And he's playing a lot of minutes, getting a lot of shots. But Wagner is a guy that you might want to keep an eye on here. 37 minutes in Game 1. He had 18 points, shot okay from the field. But then in Game 2, he had 17 shots, only made 5 of them, and still ended up with 18 points again. And his over-under is right around 19 here. It was 19.5 the last 2 games. He landed 18, so they bumped it down a little. But he actually took a lot of shot attempts a game and didn't hit anywhere near as normal. I think he does shoot better at home. So Franz Wagner, I think, could be worth a look over 19 points if you're looking for a Magic player prop here in game number 3. All right, let's move forward to the next game at 7:30 Eastern. This is one of your two TNT games. It's a spotlight game, Knicks and Sixers. The Knicks are up 2-0, but it could very easily be the other way around as Philly has found a way to blow double-digit leads in both games. They had a 13-point lead in Game 1, had a 10-point lead in Game 2, but found a way to blow it. In fact, the Knicks scored the last 8 points straight in 28 seconds to win that game by 3. Just a remarkable collapse by Philly. They should have called the timeout when Maxey got in trouble and gotten the ball at half court. I think that was inexcusable. Nick Nurse might have an NBA championship with Toronto, but he's been questionable at times here. Didn't foul also in Game 1. They were down, I think, 30 seconds to go. They're probably not going to win, but why not give yourself a chance? Hey, comment below here on the video. Let me know your thoughts on Nick Nurse. He won a championship at Toronto, and a few years later, he was let go. Is he the reason Philly is down 0-2? Should it be 1-1? Should it be 2-0? Embiid was the big question mark coming into Game 2, and so was Maxey, by the way. He had an illness, and he played pretty well still. 35 points, to say the least. He played well. And keep in mind, in Game 1, he was a key guy as well with 33 points. So even with the illness, he scored more in Game 2. Embiid was the guy that was the real question mark, though. He did not look healthy after Game 1, getting banged up in the middle of that game. He was listed as questionable all day in Game 2. He had 29 points in Game 1, and then he came back with 34 points in Game 2. So he looked pretty good. Did get to the double-double with 10 rebounds after having only 8 in Game 1. 36 minutes and 39 minutes. He's going to have to do it again for him. I would expect him to be okay to go. I'm sure he's not 100%, but he's a superstar. And boy, was he distraught after that loss. Talking to the reporters, head down the whole time, just saying it was effing unacceptable. And B doesn't really cuss a lot either. It's pretty funny to see him say that. And I do think they bounce back here. This is another situation where we have the home team down 0-2, and it's a quality home team. You can argue if the Magic are a quality team or not. They're a quality home team, but they're probably a little bit early to being a dominant team. Philly would have maybe been the number 2 seed behind the Celtics had Embiid not been banged up for several months. In fact, regular season, they were 31-8 with Embiid, 17-28 without. Once again, 31-8 with, 17-28 without, and they could easily be 2-0 in this series despite being 0-2. So it does look like a bounce back spot for Philly here in this one. And once again, the odds makers are catching on to the first half because the full game is 4.5. First half line is 3.5. And the first quarter in this one is a basket and a half. So once again, or 1.5. So, or 2 actually. I've seen mostly 2s. I'm sorry, Orlando's 1.5, Philly's 2. So once again, first quarter 2, first half 3.5, full game 4.5. So you can see the progression here. The odds makers do expect Philly to come out fast and maybe New York to be a little hungover. We'll see, though. Sometimes we see momentum carry from a comeback win like that. Do the Knicks come out strong? We saw them come back in the fourth quarter of Game 1, and then Philly came out strong to start the second game, 25-18 in the first quarter. So we'll see if the Knicks are stronger this time out, but the odds makers are saying Philly's probably the first half play in this game. As far as the player props, Maxey and Embiid are obviously the key guys. We're not going to get much value betting the over. But they're taking the majority of the shots. They took 48 of the 81 shots in Game 1. And then we look at Game 2. The two of them took 51 of the 84 shots in Game 2. So I'm not going to fade either one of those guys, but there's really not much value left with the over. Although if they do win Game 3 at home as they're expected, you would expect them to have big games. So it is probably somewhat correlated. By the way, the over-unders didn't touch much on it in that Magic Orlando-Cleveland game. As I mentioned, 2 really good, slow defensive teams, but the odds makers continue to drop the total on that one. So it's pretty much been priced in. It's now 199.5, by the way, that Cleveland-Orlando total. I believe that's the first sub-200 total we've had all season. I don't remember seeing one this low. But this Knicks-Philly total's dropped 3 points from the opener already, 205.5 down to 202.5. And we'll see how it plays out. The first game the first game went over 215, went over the 208. And then the second game landed right around 205 was the total. It landed on 205. Both teams shot well below normal percentage-wise, though. So I was a little surprised to see them drop the total lower here for Game 3. The odds makers with all these unders cashing the first few days of the playoffs have had to over-adjust. This looks like a situation where maybe that's the case, especially if Philly comes out with some punch early on. This 202.5 under, I know that was sharp money, but it's looking like maybe it's getting a little bit too low, especially if the teams shoot anywhere near their normal percentage. Game 2 already went over this with 205, and they shot just 43 and 41%, which is well below norm. So I would think if the pace is the same, we might actually see an over in this one. All right, going to look at your late game, Lakers-Nuggets in just a moment, but quick reminder, if you want my best bets for Thursday night, I do have 3 of them. 3 strong best bets for Thursday night NBA locked and loaded. Also, an advanced play for Friday is up right now. That's right. I load the games ahead of time with the NBA playoffs. I do these videos early for you, try to get them up the night before even. And I also get my best bets up even earlier before I do the videos. And that's because my clients get them instantly emailed to them with full analysis and also text message alerts. If you'd like to become a client, now's the time. NBA playoffs less than just a couple $100 for the rest of the season. And I am number one all time in units won in the NBA in the history of WagerTalk. And I'm number one again this year in NBA sides and totals combined. NBA playoffs are a large part of that. I've won consistently for 30 years now in the NBA postseason. And once again, number one all time in the NBA regular season and postseason combined at wagertalk.com. So check out my basketball best bets. We're off to a great start here in the NBA playoffs this season. And baseball quietly sweeping the board along the way the last several days and nights. Perfect in baseball going back to last weekend. So why not get an all sports, all access for the next 100 days for less than $5 a day? That works out to about $2 a play. If you'd like to get the entire summer for just $2 a play, baseball and the rest of the NBA playoffs, it takes you all the way to August 1st, the first day of the NFL preseason. It really is a summer package to build your bankroll for the upcoming football fall. And there's no promo code needed. It's on my homepage right now. Works out to about $2 a play for the entire summer. All sports, all access, baseball and basketball. We are red hot. Why wait any longer? Check it out. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And don't forget, I post free plays every day as well. Bonus free plays on my page. For those of you that are starting out doing your own handicapping or building your bankroll, check out those free plays. They're always one of the last cuts from my best bets. They do quite well. And when you're ready to take the plunge and make some serious money, and once again, that summer special gets you everything for about $2 a play. Now, if you want a smaller package, we do have a buy 3 days, get a 4th day free going this week. Once again, a 3-day, get the 4th day free. That also does not need a promo code. It's all on my homepage. Just scroll down. You'll see the best bets. You'll see the free play. You'll see the promos and the special packages. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/sm. All right, let's look at the late game at 10 o'clock Eastern on TNT tonight on Thursday. Game 3, Lakers-Nuggets. Very similar to the Philly-Knicks game, as in which the home team Lakers come home down 0-2. Could have won both games 1 and 2. Definitely should have won game 2. We had a strong best bet, by the way. Part of that perfect start to the NBA playoffs did occur the other night on Monday when we had a best bet on the Lakers plus the 7.5. Really never in jeopardy. They were up by 15.5, and they had a lead by 20 in the second half. But they gave up the straight-up win. And in fact, the only sweat there, I will be honest, was overtime. I was glad to see the Nuggets win it because I did not want OT. Man, would that have been a bad beat, plus 7.5. Let me know your thoughts. Which side were you on in the Lakers-Nuggets game? I know many of you are my clients you're watching. I'm sure you were on the Lakers with us. You in agreement? Were you a little worried about overtime there? Because the Lakers were gassed. No question about it. And it's not a fluke because this is an aging team. LeBron is very old. He played well, by the way, especially early on. Just aggressive. I mean, I realized watching the game, I've always said, Jordan, LeBron. I don't know. This might upset some of you. And by the way, please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I might have to put LeBron at the top of the list. His passing is just insane. And I forgot what a great passer he was. He made one, grabbed a rebound and threw it like sideways down court in the first half. Some no-look passes. They ran the numbers, too, for playoffs all times during that game. They had it on TV the other night. All-times points leader, wins. Then that's surprising. But he's number 1 in assists. He's number 4 in rebounds. And Jordan's up there as well. And they both played a lot of games, played a lot of championships. But LeBron's done it with 3 different teams now, I believe. Cleveland, Miami, L.A. I don't know. Might have to put him at the top of that list. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is the greatest player of all time? It might not even be Jordan or LeBron. I mean, Chamberlain was the most dominant player of all time. I think you have to include him. Rules were changed because of him. Numerous rules. What was it? Goaltending, I believe. The 3-second rule. Maybe even crossing the free throw line on free throws. They might have changed that for him even. So he was probably the most dominant player ever. Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I really do respect the comments. I read them all. I reply back. Who do you think is the best player of all time? LeBron, Jordan, Chamberlain, somebody else? Hey, comment below. Let's get a little topic of discussion going here for Thursday. All right, back to the Thursday Laker-Nuggets game. My point is, LeBron's aging. He tires. They were in the thin air and altitude, don't forget, in Denver as well. So it was not a fluke that the Nuggets came from behind for both games. Keep in mind, we've seen this movie before. Last year, Western Conference Finals. Nuggets win games 1 and 2 at home. The Lakers blow a lead in game 2. Yet they cover both games. I know they didn't cover game 1, but they came close to covering on Saturday. But they covered game 2 easy. Could have won outright. So what happens? Do they bounce back? Well, last year that was not the case because, as you know, Denver went into LA in game 3 and won game 4 as well to sweep them and go to the finals to win the championship. And in game 3 last year, the Nuggets were a 5.5-point underdog. They led at halftime by 3, won the game outright, 119-108. And then game 4, they were a 3.5-point dog up 3-0. And they are actually trailed by 15 at halftime and still came back and won that game by 2, outscoring them by 17. So the Lakers' second half collapses are well known for the most part going back to last year's playoffs. They've now lost 10 straight against the Nuggets. So while the Lakers do qualify in many of those good Game 3 home teams back at home angles, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on this one because the Nuggets have had their number. Do you really want to take the Lakers in a pick-em to +1 spot against a team they've lost to 10 straight times, including this exact same situation last year? So right now I'm seeing anywhere from pick-em, Nuggets -1. So the betting markets aren't quite as in love with this 0-2 situation. But what's interesting is if you look at the first half line, this is the crazy one. The Lakers are pick 'em to +1 for the game, but they're -1.5 in the first half. Very rarely in my 30-year career have we ever seen this. We've started to see it the last couple years. I'd never seen it until a couple years ago. But we have a team that's a dog overall in the game, pick 'em to +1, that is -1.5 favorite in the first half. But once again, it makes sense. The Lakers blew halftime leads in games 1 and 2 so far in this series, and they also did it quite often last year. Of course, the one time they didn't do it was game 3 last year. They come in big-time hangover after blowing game 2, and they did trail on that game by 3 at the half, but then they were up by 15 in game 4. So if you're going to play the Lakers, I guess you probably play the first half here instead of the full game. That's obviously what the betting markets, the sharp money, is telling you as well. Let's look at the total here real quick. 200 points stayed well under the 224, obviously, in game 2. One of the big differences was that the Nuggets were just 8 for 34 from three-point range, 24%, versus 15 for 42 in game 1. We'll see if they shoot better on the road here. Last year in games 3 and 4, they were 41%, 42% actually, and 36% from 3. So they did shoot well in those 2 road games last year in the Western Conference Finals. As far as player props, we obviously know it's going to go through Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Game 1, they took 39 of the 79 shot attempts. They had 59 total points, and they did a lot of the work again. They had 38 of the shot attempts, 38 of the 78 shot attempts, and had 58 points. I know many of you cashed with the D'Angelo Russell prop I gave you on Monday in Game 2, and I really did like that one. Gave it to you free here in the video as a special thank you for all that watched. I mentioned that in Game 1, he got a lot of shot attempts, but was just 6 for 20, including 1 for 9 from 3, and still ended up with 13 points. Well, I liked him a lot in Game 2 for that reason. He was 7 for 11 from 3. In fact, he had 6 threes, I believe, in the first half. Got to 23 points. It was one of the easier props we'll have. He was 15.5 in both those games. Now he's 17.5. So obviously the odds makers have priced it in. So I'm not coming back with the D'Angelo Russell prop, even though that cashed for us in Game 2. As far as Denver, everything goes through Jokic. That's not a surprise. He had the double-double in Game 1, and a lot of people like to play his triple-double odds, and he did get that in Game 2 with the comeback win, 20, 16, and then 10 assists. 27 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. So he hit that triple-double. It's only like, I think, the second time the last 10 games or so he's done that. Jamal Murray, he had the big winning shot, only 20 points. He did take 9 for 24 shooting, though, in Game 2. And if you look back at Game 1, Murray only had 22 points, and he was exactly 9 for 24 shooting. Again, 4 for 9 from 3, but he was 0 for 5 from 3 with the 20 points in Game 2. His total's around 24, which is a little bit lower than Game 2. It was 24.5. So maybe a bounce back here from Murray, who has had 22 or less now in 4 of his last 5 games. So if you're looking for a little bit of a contrarian prop, maybe Murray over 24. But on the road, that always makes you a little bit lukewarm. Caldwell Pope, Game 1 was just 4 for 11. And then in Game 2, I was curious to see how he would perform if he would have more shot attempts. He only took 7. He was 2 for 7. Maybe they use him more. I need to see more usage after scoring just 6 points. But Caldwell Pope's over-unders at 9.5. It was 10.5 the last 2 games. So he is a guy that maybe has some upside here in the near future. All right, lots of information for you. 3 games Thursday night. I gave you a breakdown as I always did. Try to get to the sides, the total, some player props. Hey, look, the point of this video every day is to give you a deep dive into how I'm handicapping these playoff games. I'm going to do a video for every playoff game every day this entire postseason for the next couple months. If you're finding these videos useful, please do me a couple favors and I will keep them coming. Comment below. It can just be a comment like, thanks, Steve. I'm appreciating the videos. Then I know you like them. I will keep them doing them. As Sally Field said, they like me. They really like me. No, but seriously, I want feedback. I want to know what else you want to see in these videos. I mean, we're covering pretty much everything. Player props, sides, totals. But if you have any questions, comment below. Ask your questions. I reply back. I read them and I reply back. Others could learn from your questions as well. Let's learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. Thumbs up, like also goes a great way to keeping these videos free and plentiful. Also, please subscribe. We hit 150,000 subscribers earlier this week. Next goal is 200,000. Make sure you're part of the team here and you've hit subscribe. I know most of you have. If you've got, do a click, subscribe, click. And you might want to consider hitting the bell as well so you never miss when these videos go up each and every day. You'll get an instant alert so you can be the first to watch while you're doing your own handicapping and get some added information. I also do free play videos for baseball each and every day here throughout the summer. Check out the free play baseball and basketball content. And don't forget, if you want my red hot NBA, my number one ranked NBA, my best bets are loaded for Thursday. 3 of them tonight on Thursday. 3 strong best bets for Thursday. Also, an advanced Friday game is posted already for my clients. You can get them individually, $25 per game, $39 a day. Why not get it for as low as $2 a game with the All Access All Sports Special, which includes baseball for the next 100 days and the rest of the NBA playoffs all the way until preseason starts August 1st in football. This is how you build your football bankroll. Get the next 100 days and nights, baseball and basketball until football starts for just $2 a play, just $5 a day. No promo code needed. It's on my page right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. If you want to sample a smaller package, we do have the buy 3 days, get the 4th day free going right now for a couple more days. That's on the page as well. And don't forget, check out those daily free plays. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Number 1 all time in the NBA at Wager Talk. Number 1 again this season. And we're off to a fantastic playoff start. Thanks for being part of it. I know many of you are on board. If you're not, you can check out my page right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Shortcut, get there quicker with WT.buzz/SM. Follow me on Twitter and X at Steve Merril. 2 R's, 1 L at Steve Merril on Twitter and X. And also post free plays throughout the week on Instagram. So be sure you follow me on IG along with Wager Talk. And stay tuned right here to Wager Talk TV for more great baseball and basketball content coming up next.